Born Marie Anne Adelaide Lenormand on May 27th, 1772, in Alençon, Normandy. Her life is a mix of documented history and the mythology she helped create during her 40-year career. Her father, a draper, and mother died by the time she was 5. She was raised in a Benedictine convent school, where she reportedly showed psychic abilities at an early age. While at the convent, she famously predicted the dismissal of the Mother Superior and even named her successor, a move that proved accurate but got her into trouble with the school authorities. She moved to Paris around 1786. By the time of the French Revolution in 1789, she was already establishing herself as a fortune teller and cartomancer. Lenormand became the most famous diviner of the Napoleonic era. Her client files included French revolutionaries like Marat, Robespierre, and Saint Just. Her most significant connection was with Empress Josephine. She reportedly predicted Napoleon's rise to power and his eventual divorce from Josephine. Because fortune-telling was technically illegal and her predictions often carried political weight, she was imprisoned multiple times. Napoleon himself was said to resent her influence over his wife and had her jailed during his divorce proceedings in 1809. So that's a little backstory on Miss or Mademoiselle Lenormand. And we are diving in today in political history, the everything behind everything, and what huge influence reading cards and psychic work can have on a political scale and everything else. And Alex is gonna lead with some information on the history and events around that time. She's more familiar with that. I'm not too historical, so I will say hello to Alex and let her take the lead.
Yeah, like at first, this topic, I was like, yeah, sure, sounds interesting. But then when you started talking about the Napoleon connection and the French Revolution is very interesting to me because I am a big fan of historical fiction. And sorry, my baby's kind of loud today. I have this set of books that I was gifted, and it was all about Josephine Bonaparte. Starts her life and kind of goes through. So all those names you just mentioned are all in this story. And Josephine in particular, I believe she grew up in like one of the islands, like I want to say Dominico or something like this, like one of the French Caribbean islands, where she was kind of like trusting in fortune telling and things like this. In the book, it actually tells a story about like a fortune teller telling her as a child, like as a 12-year-old girl, that she was going to be like this crazy queen of the world kind of thing.
Hmm.
And that's kind of how the book starts. So but through that, I actually didn't read anything about Lenormand in, what I was reading. So this kind of like ties it all together. But the environment at that time in France, like, after she grew up and went to Paris where everything was happening, it was kind of in turmoil with the royal family just being so excessive and spending so much money and all of the people just being so poor and just keep getting higher and higher taxes. It created this revolution, but it wasn't like soldiers marching in the streets and, burning buildings down or capturing people at the time. I'm sure that happened at one point, but most of it came from all of these little parties or little meetings that were held in what they call salons, which is like basically like a living room. So, you would get a knock on your door, you get a little note, you get the invite, you go to the party. So Josephine was really good at this because she would she had aristocracy background like in her family, but then her first husband that she married was in this revolution of everybody being equal and let's make the royalty obsolete kind of thing. So So where Lenormand came in and she's doing readings for people and these predictions are coming true, I think over time, she was starting to realize like how much power this actually held because here she is having, yeah, like, people that are heading a revolution, asking her for readings. Then you have these people that were in rich families that are no longer seeing themselves there were so many like weird changes going around, like culturally, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, it was also very private. Like you had to be in the group to get in and this and that. So I could definitely see how she could get arrested, right?
Yeah.
Especially Napoleon, he just seems like a little short man with short man syndrome that just stomps his feet and gets his way and throws hissy fits through his whole life. So I could see that, like, if he heard something, oh, well, she told her this, and then it happened, like, oh, I can see all this happening. So these are really interesting questions that we could come up with because, yeah, like if you just kind of like put herself in her shoes, you're saying like she was an orphan since she was 5, like she's got the street smarts. She's got that extra sensitivity of, reading energy all around her. And then I think with some of the connections and people that she helped, and because, doing this work, like when we deliver a message from spirit and it changes somebody's life or helps them or validates them, they're going to put her into high regard, right? And then it's like, oh, well, then there's like this other group rising up against them. They're going to try to knock them down. So, yeah, I think having fortune teller, if you want to call her that, or a reader at this time was probably like a really good thing to have on your side, right?
True. True.
To tap into that unseen. We're talking about a 40-year career here, and it's kind of like when we
Hmm.
were talking about the Delphi Oracle the other time. Where it spanned over 1,000 years. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be different situations in her story. And yeah, like maybe if you are imprisoned, when you come out again, you might have a different mindset about things.
True.
So yeah, let's see.
Yeah. So two things that I wanted to mention first. I mentioned before, to correct myself, that she's creator of Lenormand. So that's actually incorrect. She used a deck that was created previously in Germany, sorry, and it was
Okay.
a German parlor game called The Game of Hope, created by Johann Caspar Hetchel, if I'm butchering the name, apologies, in 17 or around 1799. So that was what she adapted for her reading style. And then later on, for the promotion of the deck, her name was actually used to get copies of the deck sold for the purposes of, divination. And another thing with that is, 40-year career that you mentioned, she actually amassed quite a fortune. She had several properties by the time that she died and had quite a wealth built up through her own, business that she led because she was a businesswoman. She had her own salon, and she also did this on the side, plus the political connection. So she was quite wealthy in her own right, and she was a businesswoman. And I think in that regards, besides just street smarts, you have to have some sort of genuine, not predisposition because everything can be learned, but definitely some sort of wisdom within yourself that's guiding you. That's that can play all of those games and jump through all of those.
Especially too, like this time of history, because the people were so poor, right?
Yeah,
And it's like, so she was still able to create wealth while everybody else's stuff was basically falling to the ground. So just that in its own, bless you, buddy, just says like how powerful I think she was
yeah,
because it's like you throw me a bone, I throw you one.
exactly.
But obviously in her own way. Like I feel like, I don't think she married. She probably
No,
saw that as, stealing the wealth, all the things. Like she saw everything. So she just made good calls on that, I think.
yeah,
And Yeah, and I think she was rewarded when she helped those rich people because there was a lot on the line. If you think of those people in the aristocracy, they have generation after generation, they have homes and lands and people under them and all these things that in this one generation, these people are losing all that family wealth. If you're able to save that for someone, like, yeah, I'd be like, okay, you can have one of my villas. Like, you just save five, you know.
True,
And a lot of
true.
it was about like making alignments, making business deals, with war and stuff. There's money to be made, right? So yeah, I feel like she was really good at playing both sides because she did try to stay neutral to everyone. But yeah, I think it made her money for sure.
I think it's a good position for her. We're gonna get into it, but I believe that for her it was good to have kind of a both
Oh,
ends of the scale balanced in that way, connections on both ends, and then
yeah.
also coming in at a time of great uncertainty and sort of personal plague, I know financially, politically, that
Mhm.
people seek comfort. I feel like closest thing that in today's world we can associate it would probably be the lockdown that we experienced a couple of years back, where everything just got flipped upside down overnight,
Mhm.
and you sort of lose the ability to, go outside and be free and do whatever you usually did, hang out with people. I think it's the closest we get to that, where you seek some sort of comfort, you seek some sort of understanding and hope that everything will be better. So I think she came through at a time where that was most needed. And she definitely, found her niche, that's for sure. So how much of that was, genuine? How much was, maybe parlor tricks to play it up and just her own smarts, and using her genius to amass wealth, to amass her own security and stability. Because however much she went to jail, she was freed again, and she did her thing, and she never lost the money. She remained wealthy. So yeah, I think we're looking at a very, very smart businesswoman that, knew her spiel, knew what she needed to do and how to play the game, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like kind of just like the general energy of like the general energy of her doing it for spirit, for messages, like to deliver, basically the way I say it, spirit is God, whatever you want to call it. So it's like yeah, what's the energy surrounding that? Like, was she doing it like just following what she, downloads she's getting, cards she's reading, or was it, and then what's the energy around it being a game or manipulated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
So what I'm getting for like her card, like the energy surrounding it being about spirit only. This is interesting. I got the sun reversed.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it came out with this other card from my strange deck, and it's Archangel Michael calling protection. Okay.
Oh.
So this is interesting to me because we have the sun. So yes, she's sharing like her own unique gifts, her own unique light. And with that Mike Archangel Michael, it tells me yes, like they were good messages. They were to help, they were to protect. But with the sun reversed, it almost gives me this feeling of like that's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
But we got tired of that because when the sun's reversed, there's an energy drain. There's also there can be this energy of like, I feel bigger than what I really am. And it's kind of like showing off energy a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of what I get. I feel like I don't want to say it went to her head, but I feel like she realized that, just delivering what was said all the time doesn't really, in the end, give you that peace or give you the desired results. Yeah, so I feel like she was trying to help deliver like the good messages, the pure messages, but it kind of got a little bit tiring. It kind of, I think with the people she was dealing with, they're kind of like asking her to say certain things or what they, she's realizing like this is not gonna help them or what's gonna help my own position. So I feel like there was a shift there at some point. And this could be like, when she got arrested, it could have been any of those situations. Like I said, it was a very tumultuous time. So it's like, this month you could have this group that is doing everything and they're in, that's who I want to be with. But then next month, it's like it shifts so that she tries to get in there. So I feel like it boils down to her having to almost save her own ass for a lot of it, kind of mixed in with these messages. So I feel like there's like a dual. The second part I asked about, like, is it manipulative? And I got this card and it says, it's talking about being a creatrix, cosmic creatrix. And the picture in the image is just this woman and she has kind of like this swirling, like almost like a labyrinth, like around her mind, and it's talking about creating, and it came out with the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So when I see that, like the Eight of Pentacles is like trying to master, okay? It's trying to figure out. When it's reversed, it's like really like trying to be detail oriented. I feel like she was trying to create different outcomes at this point. Some of it worked and some of it I don't think worked. But I do feel like she realized her power at some point and was like, okay, I'm going to use this power for myself, to save my ass, to get rich, to save the people that I want to save, or to put down this other group. So I do feel like whether it was like her own influence or just the people around her, I feel like there was a shift in saying, okay, like, this person's coming in today and I'm going to make sure when they leave, they have this feeling or this opinion about this other group. And she was really, I think, yeah, working with the groups and doing like putting one against the other, but also joining one with the other too. Like she just like when I'm kind of like getting this like picture, it's like a network and everything is like zooming back and forth, like, oh, today it's over here, today it's over there. So I feel like it was a lot for her to kind of keep track of everything, but I think she became really good at it, and it almost makes me feel like she was like, like a puppet master with the
Mm-hmm.
little strings.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And she was just kind of like, oh, wow, like I made this one dance. Like, oh, and then someone's like, okay, but can you make this one dance? And like she would try it and it would work. So I feel like she was always pushing those limits with, the group she was dealing with from those cards. But I think it started out pretty chill.
Yeah. Genuine. Genuine for
Genuine.
sure.
Yes, that's a good word. Yeah.
Um, I guess like everything that you're getting, like one of the first cards you mentioned was the sun. I got the key card in like the first row of cards, which is, sort of uncovering secrets. It is truth. It is something being unlocked and some sort of, but the colors, everything reminds me very much of the sun card as well.
Mhm.
And what I got surrounding her with the Lenormand is that at the time she was surrounded by treacherous people. So she herself had to become treacherous in certain ways. Because we have the fox right next to the woman card, and with that we have a dangerous woman or a woman in danger, whatever way you read it. But I think both are true because for her, right before that, we have the mountain, which is obstacles, which is dilemmas and hurdles to be crossed. So I feel like in order for her to be able to cross the hurdles, she needed to become a bit tricky. She needed to become a bit trickerish in her approach in order to be able to genuinely survive, basically. What we have underneath, so this is kind of, I would say, where the roots are for her. We have the book, the bear, and the heart. So I feel like for her, we have this uncovering of secrets as a result of difficulty and as a result of hard journey and the blocks and dangers that she faced growing up, I believe. So it was almost like she became hyper keen on observing noticing small nuances in behavior, in speech, in conversation, in how people approached her and how she approached people, in order to be conscious of any sort of potential danger, anything that might be coming her way, and in whatever way she might be able to avoid, either getting abused or getting killed or, whatever else might happen to her or to be put at a disadvantage. We end that low row with the heart card. So I feel like there was a genuine sense of I want peace, I want love, I want to be respected as well, and I want kindness. And I feel like the way that she did that was through that act of connecting with people on a very social basis. And I feel like doing cards for people was an extension of that. And it does seem very genuine. But yeah, there is sort of like you could say a hidden agenda behind it because it did allow her to feel safe. It did allow her to
Yeah,
feel
it's
more
it's
connected.
funny you're talking about this like safety thing because I also got I got the Nine of Wands, which is
Mm,
all about kind of like being beat down but still standing, still able to move forward with the same fire and just drive, right? And it
yeah.
came out with this card, which is it's talking about loyalty, okay?
Hmm.
And it's the Hound and the Pair. So to me, the Nine of Wands with this loyalty card, like I think there was a small group or maybe like just, just a handful of people that she did stay loyal to. And I think they helped each other get through this the most. But in that loyalty, she had to be kind of, pulling the tools out of her tool belt. Like, where can I manipulate these other
Yeah.
groups where I need to, but I do feel a sense of kind of like an ongoing loyalty to somebody, maybe Josephine and her kind of connection, because I feel like it mirrors Josephine's life kind of mirrors what Lenormand was, because she was locked up a couple times
Yeah.
and she had to survive, like all this stuff. So I feel like there was some of them that were kind of sticking together, and it's like, okay, you get arrested, I'm gonna get you out. And then
Yeah.
they get arrested, they're like, oh, we're gonna get you out. It's kind of like she survived it, like she could take it because of, all her history and all of these things.
Yeah.
The Seven of Pentacles came out with that too. Like I was saying, like she has a lot of tools in her tool belt. She has a lot of people that she can ask for help that she's helped. She has a lot going for her in the skills she has as well. It's like I feel like she could just pull out different skills when she wanted to, like, oh, I'm not reading cards anymore. I'm a salon coordinator for her. Like, you know what I mean? So there's, I think, ways for her to get around the law with the loyalty she had. Even it's like, you just need that one judge to sign off on something, and she'd be like, "Hey, remember, I got you and your wife back together." And then, she's out. So it's like I feel like she was very smart like that and had a lot of options, a lot
Hmm.
more options than the average Joe that, was dealing with this craziness.
True. True. And
Hmm.
we do have specifically as well above her, what I was getting was the snake card, which can be representative of a woman. And we
Hmm.
have the woman card in Lenormand picked up as the significator, so the middle point for this particular spread. What this would indicate is that there is a very strong female influence that can also be very dangerous. And I feel like mixing with somebody in that type of position can be very dangerous because it's very unpredictable of who's an ally, who's not, who has a hidden agenda, what type of agenda it is. Is it something that could be life threatening or something that could be creating wealth and abundance and success? So I do believe that she went out on a limb a little bit, and I believe that she held a lot of this woman's secrets. So if we read corners, we have the snake and the book card, which the book can also represent secrets, hidden knowledge, diaries, information stored. So I believe that she knew a lot of hidden information about this woman, which I'm quite confident would be Josephine, almost like a
Hmm.
very close consort. And I don't think that she actually used that as a way to manipulate her specifically. I believe she was genuine with her, but I
Mhm.
do believe that she did use that connection with her to create other connections, to manipulate some of the other connections in different ways, not just through cards, in order to
Yeah.
get herself in a position where she would save, to where even if she did go to jail, she would be able to come out and that she would be safe, for that she could not be incriminated for something that would end up being like a life sentence, or, a death sentence even. So
But I
that,
think she was good at like even getting people together too. So like
yes.
Josephine, if it was her that I feel like it was her that they were together a lot when Josephine was in Paris.
Hmm.
But it's like Josephine will be like, "Oh, well, I need so and so to be at this salon, but like I don't have a relationship with him, but you do. Like I need him to come and talk to this other guy." Like, you know what I mean? So there's all these
Hmm.
and of course, she's going to say yes if that's who's, giving her money or a villa, or like you're going to get yours once this all.
Yep.
And I mean, Lenormand, she probably saw how great Josephine was going to be. Like she could probably tap into that energy because she started out as kind of like, in this revolution, stripped of all of her money, almost living basically in poverty before she got herself into meeting with
Yep.
Napoleon and all these things. So I feel like they were together in like the bad times and the good. And
Hmm.
yeah, they were helping each other, not always like probably want to, but it's like I got to do this for her kind of thing.
I think she's sort
It's
of like
interesting.
a poster child from like poverty to success, or like from disadvantage
Mhm.
to ultimate success,
Yeah.
because literally her row of cards is her in the middle. Beneath that, we have that bear, the danger, the obstacles, and then
Okay.
above her, we have the bouquet, which is the offer, opportunity, gift being represented. So it's
Mhm.
literally, I am the gift, and I offer the gift of how to get through the hurdles. I am the one that got through the hurdles, and I can help you get through the hurdles, which is, I feel like for a lot of us that do partake in cartomancy, divination, psychic, abilities or offers for other people, it is literally that incentive, or that idea of like, I want to help you in some sort of way get through the issues or problems that you're facing, or offer you some sort of understanding or greater understanding of what you're going through, so you can make a better choice. So that part feels very genuine. And yeah, I feel like a lot of what I feel like where she found a lot of joy was love. Whilst there was a lot of politics, there was all of that, I believe that she did greatly enjoy kind of discoveries about love, romance, because it did sort of spice things up a little bit, but at the same time, it does give her an extra leg through the door to, maybe use that information if necessary, who's sleeping around with who, who's being naughty, who's going where they're not supposed to be going, stuff like that. I feel like was also part
Yeah.
of it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, I keep just looking at this loyalty card too, and there's like pairs. It's a greyhound and pairs, and the pairs are cut open. And it just reminds me of like even in the loyalty, she had to be very vulnerable. She had to be very trusting, like basically like wide open at times. I feel like she could protect herself, when she needed to, but some of this was kind of like I have to give full trust at this moment because I don't have any other choice. I feel like, yeah, I don't, but I don't, still don't feel like she was taken advantage of. You know what I mean? It's kind of like she was part of it. I don't feel like she was
No,
being used like in a way that she didn't want to be or didn't choose to be.
I was just
I
gonna
got
say
the
we should
lovers
ask
card coming out.
whether or
The
not she was
lovers.
influenced. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's like, and that lovers is Gemini, right? It's like it's the words. It's like I'm like this is what's happening now, and then it shifts to oh no, this is what's happening now, and kind of what you were saying about the lovers, like that gossip, that gold at the time, like the gossip could be
Hmm.
really worth gold. So yeah, it's very interesting. So I think really like overall, it's not like she was like this bad manipulator. But I feel like when she had the opportunity to further herself or further her group or her loyalty or whatever, do what she was asked, I think she did it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It
So
feels genuine more
yeah.
than anything. I was thinking like maybe we should ask whether or not she was influenced at any point towards like politics or stuff like that. We did talk about that the last time, previous episode with
Mhm.
Pythia, Oracle of Delphi. If you have not, if you're listening, go check out that episode, The Gas Goddess and the Geopolitics. Really, really amazing. Some really fascinating stuff. And I believe it's not the case that we had there where there were like plans or people influenced, or somebody being a kind of a voice in the ear influencing what she's supposed to say. I feel like she was very individual and she was very smart about it, knowing that if she allowed herself to get manipulated, she would be finished. Because ultimately, all of her power, everything that she built, all of the trustworthiness, everything would fall into the water. I think she knew how to make it look as though she had been influenced by someone
Mm,
to convince them
hmm.
that they were able to, convince her, but that wasn't actually the case. So yeah, very, very, some would say conniving, but not
I
in a
almost,
negative
for
way,
some
like
reason, I'm
very
feeling
sneaky.
like too that she took the fall for somebody. Like when she got imprisoned, I feel like they were like, okay, if I go, like I have all these tools in my tool belt, I have all these different things, I have all these things, but if you go, and you're going to be stuck there forever. So I feel like there was, I don't know how many times she was in prison, but I feel like there was this one time where it's like she like almost volunteered to go because it's like, okay, if I go, I can, so and so can get me out, but if you go, like we're fucked. So I feel like there was something like a decision like that she had to make, and she almost like sacrificed her freedom. Maybe that was like the best case scenario in this one thing, but it's again tying to this woman that she was attached to.
Yeah, this would be
And
for like
I
stealing
wonder if I
secrets.
wonder if it was like as if they were lovers. Like it feels very loving.
Yeah, that's what I was getting because getting the heart previously, it's sort of like it makes me think that there was sort of a love interest in there in that
Yeah.
entire mix. What she would have gone in for, or it makes a lot of sense what you're saying, that she would have gone instead of somebody else. I believe that this
Hmm.
would be for the tower and the mice. It would be for stealing like state secrets
Okay.
or political secrets and sort of being sent in for that, which I don't think she had actually information about, or she had and she didn't want to talk about it, but was sort of
Hmm.
deciding to talk about it in order to sort of save somebody.
And I
And the
wonder
sun
too,
and the
like where
bouquet
she
is
never,
like an
yeah.
offer of freedom, offer of happiness,
Okay.
and yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. Like I'm doing this to free somebody, to allow somebody to remain free and to, not make a mistake the same way that they did previously.
Yeah, and I wonder too, like where she didn't marry all those years. Like maybe she was homosexual, right? And maybe that also played into like her connections or this one main person. But I would say like if I was, I probably just wouldn't marry, instead of
True,
like
yeah.
going into the marriage. Yeah, I know it just feels very loving. I mean, it could be friendship, it could just be regular friendship,
Do
but
you
there's
think it was
definitely
Josephine?
watching out for somebody and them watching out for you. Is how it felt.
Yeah. Do you think it was Josephine or
I feel like it was.
like her lover?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
That would be interesting if that was the case.
I don't think it ever happened. I think she secretly loved her, but I don't think they were together in that way. Because I got this card, it's like it says attachment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out with the seventh chakra card, but it has this woman with a crown on it.
Oh, okay.
And also seventh chakra, that's not in the physical. Okay. That is in the spiritual side. That is where we connect to the divine. So there's an attachment, but I feel like it wasn't a physical attachment. But maybe it could even be past life connection that she knew about. Like she's going through this life and she's going to be attached to this powerful woman, the queen that came from nothing. So I feel like there was some knowledge of, because of the seventh chakra, there was knowledge of her, like, okay, I know I'm going to be attached. Like, I know our stars are crossed. I know our paths are crossed. Our destinies entwined. And if she did see, secretly love her in that way, I don't think it was ever like brought to the surface.
Yeah, I believe that it remained hidden because we have the letter in the moon. So I feel like
Mhm.
so she might have wrote letters or like secret things or like a
Okay.
diary or something that would have not been discovered likely, or that she destroyed herself. But I do feel like that almost what you said, like unrequited love or one-sided love or something where she wouldn't dare
Mhm.
to profess it completely. And it sort of remained this sort of platonic friendship, having the house and the clover coming up. It's sort of like it was happiness, it was satisfaction, and it was companionship in a different way through the friendship. So I
Mhm.
think she was satisfied enough where she didn't go out and seek something more romantic and push for that because potentially would be creating more problems of especially if it would be taken the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
Interesting. But
interesting.
again, if you're talking about that loyalty, yeah, I think too, like if it was Josephine, it's her being loyal to Lenormand was probably very valuable to her because she probably, living on the fringe, being neutral, you probably don't have a lot of close friends. So it kind of, yeah, it gives me like this like we've been through it all. We've been through like 10 years of this. Let's keep, let's stay loyal to each other. And I feel like
Yeah,
there was, yeah, and as a kid, she was an orphan, so she never had that safety or loyalty or anyone probably in her life for a long time that says like, you matter to me or you're valuable, you're a friend.
yeah.
So I feel like Josephine really, it wasn't, yeah, it was friendship. It wasn't like it wasn't just being used or, oh, we're just at the safe party. Like it was, I
Mm-mm.
think, really good for her and saved her ass a few times.
Exactly. I just asked what Josephine was thinking or feeling towards
Okay.
Mademoiselle Lenormand or Marie, and I got the tree, I got the sun, I got the fish, which is basically a message of stability, and it almost feels like you saved my ass a couple of times, and you saved my life quite literally, and you do bring a lot of happiness and abundance into my life. So it was like a genuine connection. It was not. I wouldn't say it was just mutually beneficial, and that was the only reason why they were
Yeah.
so close. It was just I genuinely care about you, and you got me, I got you.
So you're saying she when she was alive, she used a different type of deck that was available. So what about her, like the Lenormand deck? So
So,
did she design this?
so this is the deck that she was using, the one that I was showing you before. So
Right. Okay.
Lenormand came from the Game of Hope, which was a German kind of a household game, right? Created in
Okay.
late 1700s. I believe around 1799 is what I got before. I believe after her death, because she was using this deck, so the Game of
Okay.
Hope, they used her name to rename the deck from Game of Hope into Petite Lenormand in order to
Okay.
sell more decks because her name was so famous. So they
Oh,
took her name, slapped it on the pre-existing deck that she was using. So she didn't design
okay.
it herself. It was her name used to sell more copies of the cards.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that stuff still goes down, making money off dead people, right?
True. Yeah, true that. And that's
Yeah, I
yeah.
pulled a card on that, like what's with the energy of the deck. So I had two of wands reversed, okay, and then the hanged man. So I
Ooh.
think with the two reversed, I feel like she did have something like designed or like some changes that she made to those decks. I feel like they were
Hmm.
in the works, but she ran out of time.
So she
Um,
did do like I believe
mhm.
esoterical experiments and stuff like that. So she was playing around with different stuff. So it would make sense that she would have like different stuff that she might be working on or something being created or creating it herself.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, especially the 201s coming up, right? But then when
Yep,
it's reversed, it's like it didn't quite get the plan, like it didn't quite execute the plan. But there's definitely creative energy there. But yeah, I mean, she can still be creating from the other side through people, through spirit.
that's
And
true.
hopefully that did get into her cards. But I mean, it's like tarot now. There's so many different versions, but I feel like after this episode, I kind of want to get a Lenormand deck now.
It is
So if
very
anyone
fun.
feels that way, I encourage you
I do
to
have
buy
it.
the
It's very fun. It is definitely a different way of
deck.
reading because you're
Mhm.
supposed to read in pairs. You
In
never
pairs?
read,
Okay.
yeah, you never read a single card. You read in pairs. Because I believe we covered most everything. So I just asked real quick, is there a message from Madame Lenormand that she wants to share, or what was the message that she was trying to have? And we have the man card, and we have the key. So a man holds an answer is quite literally the message, but I believe in many different ways when we talk about man, we talk about id, we talk about, Carl Jung, psychology, the inner myself, right? The inner me. So it's almost like the answer is within the man, the answer is within us. I think is the message that's coming through at the moment. I hope
Okay.
that
I
makes
like
sense, but I think that's
that.
lovely coming
Yeah.
through. It's very interesting, but it also might mean that if you're listening to this, there might be quite literally a man holding an answer that's coming to you quite quickly. We have 2 and 3, could be like 2, 3 days that you get some positive news or information or something that unlocks your path forward by a male person, by a man.
I like that. Interesting. Thanks,
Yep.
lady. Thanks, Norman.
Yeah. It makes a very, very
But I
interesting
kind of like
story.
that too. It's like you will get your answers. And I think if you just kind of take that in general, it's like, being okay with the unknown, like everything will be shown to you. And I think that, speaks to her life a lot because she would probably, say something and then, when it happened, it's like the haha, I told you so. But also people realizing that, hey, like maybe the answers are there if we go look. And I think that's
Hmm.
kind of what she's saying too. It's like, don't be afraid to ask, don't be afraid to look. Any answer you
Exactly.
want, it's okay to seek it and you can find the answer. I've discovered that a lot in the, past few years doing cards and this podcast. It's like we're just, asking things that we don't have expectations on, or that type of thing. So it's like, yeah, it's nice to be open and just realize that we do have the answers but we also don't have all the answers.
True, true,
No,
true, true.
but it feels accessible. It's almost like she's saying things are accessible,
Yeah,
more accessible than you believe. Yeah,
yeah,
I like that.
that's very true. I like it. I
Mhm.
love it. I love that.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think that's pretty much it.
Mhm.
If you think we should be asking another question, let us know down in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know, are you familiar with Lenormand? Do you work with Lenormand? Have you heard of it before? Yeah, what do you think about the political stuff that was going on at the time and the story of Mademoiselle Lenormand? You can find us online on TikTok and Instagram under Divination Detectives. You can find my lovely co-host Alex under Guiding Tarot. I believe on Instagram and Facebook. You do have
Yeah,
Facebook as
both.
well, right? There we go.
Yeah,
Both. And myself on same sites, tarot underscore shuffle. I forgot for a second what
all
my
good.
handle was. That's lovely. And with that, we wish you an amazing week. See you in the next one.
Bye.